This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio for Thursday, March 18th, 2021. I am Kevin Smith and these are the top stories we're tracking. Get the best to build your oil industry. Don't rush to sign deals and live to regret it, says African oil expert. Indian bank to cash in on golden opportunity from Guyana's oil, named country's newest mortgage finance institution. And government signs $70 million in contracts for housing development in one day. Meanwhile, President Ali tells Summit Guyana's resources are useless if unexploited. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Introducing the new Digital Prime Bundles. Better than anything we've ever offered before. More music on D-Music. More messaging on BIP. More radio streaming on Go Loud. More storage on Bello. More control on My Digital app. With the new Digital Prime Bundles, it's never been easier to get more digital experiences. Plus, extra data. Get 30 gigabytes with a 7-day Prime Bundle for only $2,000. So much data, so much fun. Buy in My Digital app today. Digital, better together.
Public advisory. Major planned maintenance for Friday, March 19th, 2021 on the west coast Demerara from Edinburgh to La Jollity from 8 hours to 12 hours and on the west coast from Windsor Forest to Best Village from 12 hours to 16 hours. Did you know weekly planned maintenance allows for routine inspection and maintenance of the network to provide customers with a reliable supply of electricity? GPL, empowering you.
And now for the news in detail. As the members of the PPPC government pursue the development of a robust regulatory and legislative framework for the oil and gas industry, there are some key pieces of advice which it must always keep at the forefront of its mind. According to the Secretary General of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, Dr. Omar Ibrahim, the new oil-producing state must ensure it hires the best experts from across the world to build its local content capabilities and avoid rushing into contracts it could end up regretting later on. The official made these assertions yesterday during a panel discussion hosted by the Guyana Basins Summit. And now let's tell you, India's third largest public sector bank, the Bank of Baroda, on Wednesday last saw its Guyana subsidiary being designated an official mortgage finance institution under the laws of Guyana. The status was officially conferred on the institution by Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh. The modest signing ceremony was held at the Arthur Chong Conference Center, where Dr. Singh was joined by colleague cabinet ministers with responsibility for housing and water, Colin Crowell and Susan Rodriguez. Also present for what was described as an auspicious occasion was Indian High Commissioner to Guyana, Dr. KJ Srinivasa, along with Bank of Baroda Guyana Inc.'s Managing Director, Arun Gupta, along with other staffers. In other news, government on Tuesday signed close to 200 contracts totaling $70 million or 14 billion Guyana dollars for housing development, forging ahead with its promise to provide 50,000 house lots for Guyanese. With those deals signed, contractors are expected to commence infrastructural works and construction of houses in areas countrywide, including Cummings Lodge, Prospect, and Great Diamond. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, is considering the past reports of substandard work being done, issued a stern warning to contractors to ensure that quality works are executed on these projects. The quality of work presented, he said, will later act as a determining factor in whether they would be eligible for the bigger projects government has in store. Meanwhile, all of Guyana's resources, the black gold in our Stabroek Block, our timber, gold and bauxite, will be useless to our development if not exploited. So said President Irfan Ali as he gave an open invitation to foreign investors. The president made those remarks and more yesterday during his keynote address to the Guyana Basin Summit, a 3-day virtual event bringing together industry executives, experts, government stakeholders, and local business owners to devise development opportunities in the rapidly expanding Guyana-Suriname oil basin. With the time moving on to 12 hours 7, coming up after the break, ExxonMobil on track to triple production capacity in Stabroek Block as 220,000 barrels per day Liza Unity nears completion. Minister Barrett says Petroleum Commission bill to be tabled in a matter of weeks, and in the case of the murder of 10-year-old boy, juvenile detained to appear in court today. And the Labour Ministry flags Indian logging company for inadequate employees' living conditions and other violations. Do stay tuned.
Public advisory. Major planned maintenance of Friday, March 19, 2021 on the east bank of Demerara from Garden of Eden to New Hope from 9:30 to 15 hours 30. And the reason for the outage is to connect high voltage mains and jumpers for rerouting circuit, transfer high voltage mains and lines to hardware, and replace defective cross arms insulators and poles to pin, and plumb poles and remove old poles. Did you know that weekly planned maintenance allows for routine inspection and maintenance of the network to provide customers with a reliable supply of electricity? GPL, empowering you.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. ExxonMobil and its production partners in the Stabroek Block are on track to triple its production capacity offshore Guyana. The Liza Unity vessel nears completion. The massive 220,000 barrels per day oil vessel is being constructed at the Keppel shipyard in Singapore, with SBM Offshore announcing on Tuesday that the topside lifting campaign for the Liza Unity vessel was recently completed. The vessel, which is scheduled to arrive in Guyana as early as mid-year, is scheduled for production in the Stabroek Block and will bring the country's total capacity to some 340,000. In other news, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat announced yesterday that the independent regulator the government promised to establish for the oil sector, the Petroleum Commission, will be established soon during his ministerial opening address of the Guyana Basin Summit. He noted in an interview with the summit that the Petroleum Commission bill will be tabled in the National Assembly in a matter of weeks. According to the website of the summit, the new administration has also announced plans to provide greater legal and regulatory security to investors through the creation of a Petroleum Commission. And moving on, a 16-year-old will appear in court today for the murder of 10-year-old Anthony Court. The lad was shot dead last Thursday by armed bandits who invaded a home at Packet Corner, Seafield, Sophia. Police had arrested the teen last Friday after they had received a tip-off. Investigators had said that he was their prime suspect and they were hunting two others who they believed played a part in Court's death. Those two to date have not been captured. As the hunt continues, the police force stated yesterday that the Director of Public Prosecutions has advised that the 16-year-old be charged with murder. Meanwhile, as the Ministry of Labour continues to roll out its occupational health and safety campaign to ensure maximum compliance across all sectors countrywide, an Indian logging company, Vitarna Holdings Private Incorporated, which is located in Wainperu, Region 7, has been flogged for inadequate living conditions for employees and some health and safety violations. Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton said that the workers and their families share one-bedroom living quarters, children included, and that he was shocked when these apartments were referred to as loggies. With the time moving on to 12 hours 11, time for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases, according to Worldometer, has reached 121.9 million, with deaths at 2.6 million and recoveries at 98.2 million. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported the death of a 42-year-old male from Region 3 as Guyana's 210th COVID-19 fatality. 84 new infections were recorded, increasing the number of cases to 9,322. 7 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, another 12 are in institutional quarantine. 41 are in institutional isolation and 684 are in home isolation. Additionally, a total of 8,381 persons have recovered to date, with 22 new recoveries recorded yesterday. And coming from CNN, experts say there is a tough race between COVID-19 vaccinations and a contagious variant that's rapidly spreading across the U.S., threatening another dangerous surge. And the eased restrictions only further complicate things. Meanwhile, coronavirus reinfections are relatively rare, but it's more common for people 65 and older to get infected more than once, according to a study published in the Lancet Medical Journal. Before we come to the end of today's news at noon, let's head over to the page 7 of the Kaieteur newspaper right after the break.
Good morning, GHK.
And now for the page 7 blunt comment. With all these members leaving the Alliance for Change and blaming it on a toxic relationship with the APNU, you'd think that the smaller party would cut its losses to keep its own members. The smaller constituent parties of APNU have already started doing as such to get away from the PNCR, which has already lost a member because of its election rigging. We can see what the ultimate fate of the APNU AFC will be, while its leader, David Granger, hides in the shadows. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on